click or a call to action that you forget to actually tell people what you want them to do, or a destination that when they click on that link and they get to your website throws a million things in their face, they forget what they were there to do in the first place. And so you might go to Doug and say, hey, I've got this great idea. I'm going to create this membership program for my business. I'm going to start getting people to subscribe to my coffee on a monthly basis, and I'm going to start shipping them boxes based on their selections every month. Sounds great, right? How are you going to get people to sign up for that? Well, you know, in order to make this thing work, to hit my first milestone, I got to get my first 1,000 members. You know, so I'm going to go to the farmers market and I'm going to pass out business cards. Right? How many business cards do you pass out in a day at the farmers market?
I haven't had business cards in 10 years.
How many samples do you give out?
Don't do samples.
Okay. How many people smell the coffee?
Since COVID, we don't have them over. We don't have bags anymore to smell them. But I mean, at a typical Saturday market, I'll sell 120 pounds of coffee,
Wow.
200 or 300 cups, another 400 or 500 cups of cold brew, nitro.
Wow.
And
So that's great. Well, let's say that every, if you're selling that much at a given farmer's market, let's say, go ahead.
go to your point.
Yeah.
I've got in this groove where I used to have flyers, I used to have postcards,
Sure.
I used to have business cards. I haven't done advertising in 10 years, not a dollar's worth. I
Sure.
haven't bought business cards since the old ones had my ex-wife's name on them, and I didn't buy new ones.
Sure. And that's proof that you don't need it.
Well, no, I do. I mean, I don't.
Sure.
But I've gotten too comfortable in that.
Sure.
So.
And but my point is, you don't necessarily need everything that a lot of people think that they need. You don't need a business card to start selling coffee. Is it going to help you grow your business? More than likely.
It did.
Sure.
Well, because I have a subscription, and that's where they came from. They're from the repeat customers.
Right. And, so if you're selling, let's say 150 one-off customers at a farmer's market, maybe that's an opportunity to generate 50 subscribers, monthly members to your program. And that would be great, but you would have to go to 20 farmers markets to get to that point. And I think 50 is kind of a lofty goal, And so that might take you a long time to reach that point. For example, maybe there's a faster way to get there. Maybe you can say, hey, instead of buying business cards to pass out at these farmers markets, maybe I can spend some money on some online advertising and I can get in front of 10,000 coffee lovers in a month instead of a year. And, so there are opportunities to pursue your goals and to reach your milestones that one opportunity may look better than another, and it's a lot easier to tell when you can put them on paper and actually compare the two. And so we'll definitely do some of that today. We'll go through the process of establishing where your starting point is, reviewing what kind of opportunities you might have in front of you, determining which one of those makes the most sense to focus on in the short term, develop a plan for pursuing whatever goal you attach to that, and then repeating that process so that what begins as what we would call an MVP, a minimum viable product, right? Okay, I'm gonna sell coffee online, so I need an ad, I need a sign up page, and I need a thank you page, right? And you might put those together and people click to get to one place and then they buy to get to the next place. And cool, you got a simple system, it's your minimum viable product. You got what you need to get to market. Again, doesn't mean that system is performing the best that it possibly could. So we need to go back and optimize and say, okay, maybe my ad is performing really well, I'm getting lots of clicks to my website, but the people who get there aren't buying my product. So that tells us, okay, there's an opportunity to focus here on the way my website's designed to encourage people to take that action. And there are lots of elements to figure out, which one might be the most impactful. Your website might have to do with the content on the page, it might have to do with the price of your product. How do you determine these sorts of things? We'll talk about all of that. It'll be fun. Anita's stoked.
Can I just come up?
I wish you would.
I don't think I formally introduced myself.
Let's make that happen right now.
Because I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Right.
She
Sorry,
probably forgot.
sorry to distract you.
Wait a minute now, let me go ahead and introduce myself.
Please do.
My name is Charlene. I'm the owner of Studio 413. It's over in that building over there. I do photography and videography. We also do graphics.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah.
I
I
noticed
was on a
over
plane. I was on a plane this weekend, and my ears just like popped.
Oh,
I feel like I'm yelling, and maybe I'm.
You're not, but I am hard of hearing, so I
Oh,
apologize.
okay. I'm the owner of Studio 413. I do photography and videography, and we do graphics as well.
Mhm.
So that's who I am.
What was your name?
Charlene.
Charlene,
Yes.
okay.
and you say you're in that building over there, even here in the Enterprise Center?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And how long?
Sure.
Right,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
cool,
I've been there for a little over a year.
nice,
Yeah. But
And-
I've been doing photography for a long time.
sure. And so, when did you start working with Doug?
I haven't really worked with Doug, which this is my new year.
Oh, cool.
Me and Doug, we got a thing going on.
You're not the only young
I'm
lady
gonna
that's got one.
be going to, because as a business owner, it's really hard to make time to do the outside things, because for me, it's two business owners. You got the ones who just wanna do what they
Sure.
love doing, and they don't wanna do the business side of it.
Absolutely.
That's my downfall. I don't wanna do all the other stuff, but
Sure.
I have to.
Sure. Well, we, talked about that already a couple of times, even of just how it can be a real drag to be a business owner when the things that are required of you aren't things you enjoy doing. When you can leverage a proven system, you ultimately end up spending less time in that sort of trial and error phase. If you're putting together an online campaign, for example, and you need to spend time making sure that your ad is effective and your website is effective and that you're getting all the purchase notifications so you know when to ship, right? That's a lot of technical work for a guy that likes to brew coffee to have to do, right? So the less time that any of us have to spend in that nitty-gritty learning things the hard way, the better, right? So
Right.
my way of avoiding that is to just steal stuff that other people have done way better than me and put my own little twist on it. And it really doesn't take much, and we say steal, but really imitation is the highest form of flattery here, and what we're getting at is we don't need to reinvent the wheel. You're not the first person with the photography business. I'm not the first person with the marketing business. There are people who have proven systems in place out there for us to reverse engineer or borrow or whatever it takes and install those in our business and be able to skip a lot of the sort of trial and error that some of the pioneers in our industry have had to do to create those opportunities for us.
The best philosophy to try and keep in your mind is work on your business, not in your business. I was lucky enough with Molly May that it had existing revenues. I will say that. But I paid someone to do my QuickBooks. A bookkeeper. I paid someone to do social media. People ask me, can I get your, Facebook? Would you friend me on Facebook? I said, you'll find me the most boring Facebook person ever, because I never post anything. The main reason I'm on Facebook is I have two sons that are in their 30s, and that allows me to keep track of them, because if I didn't have that or text, I don't know what I'd do. But anyways, so that's why, but I knew it was important to do those things. I knew it was important to, make sure my P&L and my balance sheet and all that was always up to speed. And so, you can pay somebody. You don't have to hire, Arthur Anderson or any of the other big accounting firms to do your bookkeeping. There's lots of bookkeepers down here that, will do it pretty reasonable for you. Same thing with social media. We've got some people that can help you with, marketing and doing some of that. So you don't have to do it. Go out and find customers. That's, you want revenue. That's what drives a business.
And I think a lot of people learn that the hard way, probably.
Absolutely.
They work on a business, and they think that they've got something valuable. It's really only valuable if it's making money. And yeah, you can be in the red as long as a business needs to get the momentum to, become profitable over time, but that's gotta be part of your plan, and if it's not, it's gonna suck, because you're gonna need more money than you've got, and your business is probably gonna fold.
You're spending all day just sitting in your office staring at your computer screen and wondering why you're not making any money. And I'll tell you why, because you're sitting in your office staring at your computer screen. Get out there and meet people and let them know who you are and market it. I'm not saying, get some fancy brochures and all that. Just go out and meet people and let them know. Develop an elevator pitch. If you're on an elevator with somebody for 5 minutes, how are you gonna tell them what you do? And as Josh said, a call to action. Get them involved in why they would want to call you. Because they may not call you next week, but when they have that big event coming up with their kid graduating, they may call Charlene in her photography studio to come in and take that. That doesn't happen tomorrow, but it may happen in 6 months. But put that idea in their head and just look for ways to continue to grow your business.
Amen.
I'm new to Fort Myers. I've been here since June of last year. And what I'm seeing is if I don't get out, even though I don't know where I'm going, don't know who I'm gonna meet, don't know, I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I'm getting out. So I'm glad that you, confirmed what I've been trying to do.
And I will say this, I think as business people, we think that when we start a business, we gotta go to every networking event, and we gotta have business cards, and we have to try to do all these things, but at the end of the day, you have to really calculate, is this business event really going to benefit my business? So it depends on the genre. If it doesn't really fit your audience and those are not your type of people, then you don't have to go to that one. You don't have to do business card. You can do a digital card or something like that. But you don't have to pay for a vending thing. If the vending fee is $150, you don't have to do something for $150. And if you want to go ahead and ask everybody, can y'all sign in just to get their email address? That email address is some money. Because what you're going to do is go over him, put it in the marketing database to go email people. So you have to really sit down and say, how is this going to benefit my business? Because you don't have to go to every networking event because it may not be for them.
If you look, if you Google networking events in Southwest Florida or Fort Myers or wherever, you'll find you could go to 2 or 3 every night. And that's probably not the best way for your social life to work. Plus, you need downtime from your business. So, figure out the ones. But I'm on the board of directors of the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce. We have several networking events. You can take a look at the calendar. If there's one that you would like to go to, I'm more than happy to go with you and take you and introduce you to some people there, and also allow you to go and just mingle around the crowd and meet people. So, that's what we're happy to do, and we'll do our best to drive your business. But start, as Josh said, start with a plan. Just know what
Good,
you
now we
want.
do. Good. Well, we were just finishing introductions. Are you coming to hang out?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Awesome.
I got caught up on a telephone call.
Oh, no problem at all. Everybody, this is Arnold Gordon. He's got a
Good evening to
tax
everyone.
office here in the Enterprise Center. We were just finishing up introductions, and then I was gonna let people grab a sandwich if anybody's starving.
Yeah, because my stomach is about to go.
Yeah, everybody was starving, so.
Yeah, right now.
Why don't you introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll grab sandwiches
Okay.
and get rolling.
My name is Arnold Gordon. I'm from Gordon Tax Solution. I do have an office down the road right here. My telephone number, if you should need to use it, is 239-699-2886. I answer any question you have relating to tax where it's business are concerned, whether you want to do a Schedule C, partnership, S, or I don't do non-profit. I only do profit-related tax return, and I have over 35 years of experience with internal revenue, where I usually audit. So that's about it.
So you were with the IRS for 35 years, and then you started your tax business,
That
right?
is correct.
And how long have you been in
I've been
business?
doing it since 2018.
That's this guy's a pro. And we all need it. The financial piece is one of those things like we were talking about here. I don't know many coffee roasters that like to do accounting. You know, I don't know many big videographers that love filing taxes. But I know a lot of experts who can help people like us legally avoid taxes that otherwise, if you find yourself in a situation where you are responsible for your own filing, your own bookkeeping and things, it's easy to overlook legal tax avoidance opportunities, and you ultimately pay tax twice over on money that you earn from your business if things aren't set up and filed properly. So,
and I am open to it. I mean, my philosophy is very simply, you ask me a question and I can answer, it's good, but if you make me have to do research, and then it's going to cost.
that's fair.
But I do answer a question that, you know, because one of the reasons why I leave the Internal Revenue and open up a business, because I transferred from the Manhattan office and I've been here since '98. And I realized that sometimes folks ask questions and they don't get the right answer. I know where to ask a simple question. It doesn't have to be complicated, it's just something that's nagging and you just want that answer. That's it.
Well, cool. Should we grab some sandwiches and then bang through this little book? Thank you for being here. You guys are cool. How far is Arcadia? Probably not involved directly in helping you market your business. That doesn't mean that I don't want to help you, and it doesn't mean that I can't help you. And so this other side of our business is designed to help as many people as we possibly can without having to do the work for them. So this is meant to be a tool to empower you to do what you need to do yourself, to build a team around yourself if that's something you need to do to take care of all the aspects of your business. But ultimately, this is a way of being able to help anyone with the general planning and strategy that goes into growing and marketing a business. But you know, these are the kinds of things where if you need help with it, I will absolutely talk you through and develop an understanding of it. But I'm probably not your guy. There are people like Albert here, right? Albert, making sure I got your name right. You know, he's the kind of guy who can do this work for you. If it turns out, you know, we go through the FOCUS method today and you come up with a plan that involves publishing some videos online, you know, you're going to be going this direction. You're not going to be coming here. And I am the kind of guy like Doug who can absolutely help you along the way. But when it comes down to it, some businesses, the right opportunity for them is to pursue the kind of things that we can help them with directly and take a lot of the work off their plate. But otherwise, I'm really here as a consultant, as a resource for you to discuss this kind of thing with, you know, as a theory. But, you know, for example, this guy at the bottom of the inside cover here, that's Matt Moore. He owns Martin City Brewing Company, and they started in Kansas City, Missouri. And when I met him back in 2017, he had 2 locations, 2 restaurants right across the street from each other. One was a pizza place, one was a pub. And attached to his pizza place, he had a little brewery. And they were doing, you know, decent money, a couple $1 million a year or whatever in revenue. And they had plans to open up another location. And the beer they were brewing, they were not only selling on site, but they had bars around town pouring their beers for them. They had a distributor who was helping them get it into gas stations and liquor stores and things like that. So, you know, hey, Dr. Julie, how we doing? You coming to hang out?
Just browsing and looking.
Perfect, grab a sandwich. If you guys don't know Dr. Julie Bankston, she's with Southwest Florida. Yeah, she's got the keys to the bank.
Hi.
I'm Julie.
It was good. So anyway, when we met Matt Moore, we went through and did this focus method, and we established his foundation, figured out what point we were working from. We weighed the different opportunities he had in front of him, and we ultimately decided where his focus needed to be in order to get where he was trying to go as in the fastest and easiest way possible. We created that MVP, that minimum viable product, and got this system out into the world and rolling and producing results. And then we continued to develop and optimize that system so that it produced better and better results over time. And so that was in 2017 when we first started working with him, and we had several milestones through the pandemic. But then 2020 hit, and they needed to shift significantly. They had added at that point 3 additional locations, so they had 5 restaurants and a brewery now. They went from a team of like 40 to a team of 200, and then COVID hit, and people weren't coming in like they used to. They weren't able to effectively sell the same products in the same way, and so they needed to pivot a little bit, and so we helped them do that, and we revisited the focus method again and weighed some opportunities at that point, and that's when we determined that a premium membership program was the next right thing for them. It was the best opportunity they had to effectively build a system for generating reliable recurring revenue, despite the fact that they didn't have customers coming into their brick and mortar locations like they had before. So Matt Moore, fast forward through, just last month. It was early 2020 when the pandemic hit, when we realized we needed to make some pivots. It was October 1st of 2020 when we launched his premium membership program. That program has grown to the point where he has almost 1,500 people paying $27 a month to be a VIP member to his restaurant chain. And all that means is that for the $27 they spend, they come in and they can get about $40 worth of pizza and beer and a few other unique benefits to them. And so that point from inception, when we determined that was the right thing to do, through its launch and up until now, not only is he generating that $1,000 times, $27 times 1,500 people minus the percentage we keep, that's pushing $30,000 that instead of him writing us a check for our services, we send him that deposit every month. So every month he gets a $30,000 deposit from us, and then he's got 1,500 people who pay to be his customer that then come in and on average spend $200,000 a month in additional revenue at his restaurants. Because they are part of this program, that's where they get the best value when they do go out and eat, and they're not just purchasing the things that are part of the program. They come in and they get their free pizza, but they also pay to drink some beers, that sort of thing. And so, Matt Moore has been ecstatic since the inception of this thing because we did a good job leading up to it. We went from 0 paying members to more than 500 paying members in the first 30 days. And that's because we specifically developed a plan, like Doug's been talking about, to have a successful launch and introduction to that new program. And ultimately, again, $200,000 a month, you're talking about $2.4 million a year in related revenue on top of that $25,000 to $30,000 a month. So you're talking $300,000 a year in passive income, just comes in every month on autopilot for him. And you're talking about another $2.4 million in related revenue every year. Right, and this was one opportunity that he decided this is where my focus is going to be. And now those 5 locations that he had have become 7 and soon to be 8 locations. And he's been able to continue to use this methodology and that planning to grow his business. And he's looking to sell it, and he's looking to sell that business for like $15 million. And he needs Doug to help him find a buyer. But anyway, Matt Moore is a phenomenal success story. And again, I don't have a magic bullet for everybody. I'm not here to promise results, but I can tell you, when you sell a pleasure product, coffee, for example, something that people enjoy paying for, they enjoy consuming, it's gone in the afternoon, or you drank it the day before and you want more of it later that day or the next day or whatever. It's the kind of thing where there is a lot of opportunity just in selling that kind of commodity. We call it beer, food, and fun, your BFF. So, you know, for people who sell beer, food, and fun, success can come pretty easily. The whole world is their potential customer base, you know, and the people who are giving them money are excited to give it to them. Not everybody here is in that situation. When I file my taxes, that's a pain purchase. You know? And yeah, you're saving me money. I'm spending money with you to save money on my return or to save myself work and headache and whatever. But it's kind of like going to the auto mechanic. It's like, yeah, I need my oil changed. I want this machine to keep rolling, but it hurts to write that check.
I like that terminology, paid service.
Right. Well, right. And so, you know, for some of us, it's a more uphill battle. And what it comes down to ultimately is, you know, when you go to sell tax services or beer, food, and fun, or whatever it is you're selling, you know, sometimes you've got the advantage of it being a really attractive pleasure purchase. Sometimes you've got the disadvantage, I suppose, of it being more of a pain purchase. But there are still ways to craft your value proposition, like Doug was talking about. That's a big part of your business plan, just in general. And that value proposition is ultimately it's an opportunity for you to sell your product or your service. So when I go to Dr. Julie here and I say, buy my tax services to get your taxes done for you, right? It's do this to get that. Maybe that's attractive to Dr. Bankston here because she doesn't want to do her own taxes, right? But that's different than saying, come get your taxes done by me, I'll get you the best return, right? He's promising money when that's being offered as opposed to time, which was the way it was being offered at first. And so what we're gonna do throughout the FOCUS method here, as we think about the different opportunities that we have in front of us, we also wanna think about the best way to present those opportunities to the people that we're talking to, because you can sell the same thing, it can be the best product in the world, but if the way that you present it to your potential customer doesn't resonate, then it's not gonna be the easiest thing to accomplish. So I know this looks like there might be a lot of moving parts throughout this, but really what we're talking about is how to create an irresistible offer and a system for getting the people who find it irresistible to take the action you want them to take. So, you know, going through the FOCUS method here, we've got 5 stages that we think about when we're pursuing any business goal, and that's what FOCUS stands for. It's foundation, opportunities, creation, understanding, and scale. And
Sorry about that.
that's number 0.9 millimeter lead too.
Thick line.
Tough to break.
Careful. Penetration of the skin.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have handed you that before thinking to it. So, again, FOCUS stands for foundation through scale there. It's all written on the page. And, you know, if you think about what each of those phases are, right, your foundation, this is what your business is built on. This is the basis of who you are, what you do, where you are. Your opportunities, these are different ways of pursuing your goals. Like you said, there are multiple ways to sell more coffee. So we're going to think about the different ways that we have of approaching the skinning of this cat. Creation is when you take those ideas that you have for pursuing an opportunity and actually turn them into a system that does what we were wanting it to do, which takes strangers or people who are otherwise interested, they make up your audience, and it turns them into your customers. And there are other ways to think about that, but at the end of the day, that's the highest level you can think of it, turning strangers into customers. And the understanding phase then is once you've developed that system, you can look at the individual components and say, okay, based on the projections we made, based on what we think is a reasonable target here, this is working as well or better or worse than we expected it to, or than we need it to. And this understanding phase allows us to focus on any of the individual components that might be in need of a little fine-tuning, and allows us to do that so that if we're developing an advertising system, for example, you want that system to be the kind of thing where you put in $1 and $5 comes out, right? But it may not be that way when you start. You may have to invest $1 and get $2 out, right? You're lucky, you're still making $1. Like a lot of people spend $1 and get nothing out. So point is, your system is the equivalent of a machine that you put $1 into. And the optimization process is the process of turning that $1 into the highest level return you can, $5, $10, if you're lucky, $1 million. Anybody who can turn $1 into $1 million, let's schedule an appointment right now. I need to know your secrets here.
Can we just step back to phase one?
Yes, sir.
Where you have the foundation.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I'm trying to understand the foundation, as you said here, this is what business is built on.
Yes, sir.
So when you said this is what my business is built on, is I'm starting business X.
Sure.
And this is what I expect, whether this is where I bring in, I expect to be at this office at 6 o'clock. If I got workers, this is what I expect from them. This is the way we're going to treat the customer. This is basically, in my mind, what I want my business to be.
And that's an important element of all of this, absolutely. And what you're talking about, parts of that are definitely relative to the foundation that we're talking about here, are relevant rather. Parts of that are maybe a more overarching thing that, like Doug's business planning canvas, they would absolutely be a part of that, but they might not be as important in this process. But I'll go through some examples here in just a minute. And I think,
you were just running them out.
right, and I think you'll understand immediately what parts of what you're talking about make sense to think about through this process. So if you do flip a page here to page 2, it breaks down those phases and really the steps it takes to get from one to the next, right? So the process of, when you're in that foundation phase, the step you're going to be taking is the establishing of that foundation. You're going to determine what assets you can leverage. And so that foundation, we'll see shortly, but it really is a list of the things that your business has at its disposal that can be turned into money in some way, shape, or form. You can use it in the process at least. Once you know what you're working with, then the next step is to evaluate your opportunities. So like we said, we could go to the farmer's market, or we could start selling more online. Those are 2 different opportunities. We are going to look at the 2 of them and decide, okay, if I can't do this all at once, where is my time and energy and where are my resources best spent? Once we've done that, we're going to create a blueprint for that opportunity, which we've got a nice little framework to follow from there. But again, it's that process of how do we take people from wherever they are right now, strangers to me, to being what we want them to be for us, ultimately customers. Maybe you're trying to turn existing customers into really high value customers. There are different ways of, depending on your goals, to organize your system. But We just need to put together the few simple steps that people need to take to get from where they are now to where you want them to be. And then the next step is to analyze and optimize that system. So you put it out there in the world, like we said, you got an ad running on Facebook, people are clicking to your website, and from there they're buying your coffee. But maybe your ad's performing really well, but people aren't buying your coffee on your website. That's what that understanding phase will help us make sense out of, and that'll reveal where we need to put our time and energy in order to improve our results. Then the next step is just to repeat the process, because once we are to that point where we've got a system that's working really well, then we can go back through and say, okay, maybe we've got a new foundation now. You know, maybe I have more assets to work with now. Before I didn't have any cash in the bank, but now I got cash in the bank because I just sold 1,000 pounds of coffee. You know, so now I have this asset. Maybe instead of just posting on my Facebook page, maybe I can actually spend some money on ads. Maybe I've already saturated Facebook with advertising, but there are people searching on Google for coffee to purchase locally here. So what you'll find ultimately is at the end of this process, you will have reached hopefully one of your milestones, but you'll still be in pursuit of your long-term goals here. And so milestone 1, checked off the list. Milestone 2, circle back around. What are our opportunities here to reach that milestone? And of those opportunities, which one makes the most sense for my business right now? So, you know, when it comes to goals, when it comes to like where we're trying to get here, I know a lot of people will talk a lot about goals and setting SMART goals and how important it is to have them, and that is absolutely true. But all the business owners that I know, they just want to make